Welcome
OMG.
to welcome to another episode of Five Lemons Laughing. I'm Amanda. I'm here with Morgan, Penny, and Drusilla. Uh, Melissa's out living her life, so we're sending her lots of love. Today, we're talking about what we practice. And when I hear the word practice, I usually think of like spiritual practice, like meditation or yoga. And I also think about practicing riding a horse or learning a new skill. But what if we're practicing something every single day without? Because if practice shapes who we become, then maybe the most important question isn't like, what do I believe? Maybe it's, what am I practicing?
Mm, so interesting, Amanda. Yeah. So most of us don't choose, or we don't think we choose to practice worry or to practice impatience or judgment, but every repeated thought and every repeated reaction becomes more and more familiar. So eventually, what we've practiced begins to feel like our reality. And the beautiful thing is, what we share on here all the time is that once we notice the pattern, we can begin to choose a different one. So let's dig into this topic that Amanda brought to us today and thinking about your day yesterday. Let's just keep it close at hand. What did you actually practice the most? Not what you intended to practice, not your morning quiet time, but throughout the day. What did you practice? What did you repeat? What behaviors, what thought patterns were recurring for you in your day yesterday? Who wants to go?
So yesterday was an interesting day for me. It's really interesting when, when I get knocked off my routine. Like I have a routine, I get up at 5 o'clock or whatever, and I go do my personal hygiene, and then I go and do my pranayama and all my spiritual reading. But yesterday I didn't do any of it. And so I was knocked off of my game a little bit because we have guests visiting us. And I just did not get up early enough to do my morning routine. And it really was fascinating to watch me operate when I wasn't fully partnered up. That was what it really was. It was just amazing. So I did a lot of worrying about, oh, am I doing everything okay? Did I say something wrong to them? And it was just amazing. And so and my daughter even said to me, Mom, have you, she said, like, what's going on? And I go, well, I haven't done my morning routine. And she goes, oh, maybe you should go do it right now. And I said, okay, but first I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then I'll go do it. How silly was that? Needed to just drop everything and go get myself partnered up. But I didn't. I didn't do it the whole day. So I was practicing being in resistance yesterday. Resistance to, I don't even know what. The day turned out to be really great and we had a wonderful day, but it just felt like I was a little off. And so I went unconscious. I definitely went unconscious with what I know fills me up and keeps me centered in my loving heart. Yeah. So I don't know if that answered your question, Morgan, but that's what I practiced yesterday.
So let me ask you a slightly different way. So, hearing that story, what were you unconsciously practicing most of the day? Now that you could look back, what patterns were repeating?
Yeah, probably a bunch of control.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Thinking that I needed to control everything.
Mhm.
Gosh, I laugh at that because I know it doesn't work. But I can just drop into it so quickly, unconsciously when I'm not. Well, I can drop into it even when I'm partnered up. So I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I mean, control, mainly probably control.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me ask this as well. So, in that unconscious mode that you were operating on, how did other people's opinions or behaviors, do you think they influenced you more or affected you more?
I'm not sure if they affected me more.
They affected you
Yeah,
more.
like they annoyed the shit out of me.
Now we're getting to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Like not every, but some certain behaviors around me. Kind of like I went, oh my God, when are they going to be,
Mhm.
judging, non-acceptance, all that stuff. Yeah. It just bubbled up again. How
Thank
about
you.
somebody else?
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh, I'll talk about my day yesterday. There were kind of opposing things going on. Like my birthday was Monday.
Oh my
Happy
God,
birthday.
Um,
Drusilla.
Happy birthday. I didn't
my
know
first
that.
birthday without my mother.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was so Sunday we had a birthday dinner and then we had people over and it was a wonderful birthday. It was actually awesome. And my grandbaby came over on Monday and she sang happy birthday to me. I thought that was beautiful. So yesterday I took her to daycare. So I dropped her off at daycare and then I went to visit a client at her job and I took her a gift because she got an honorary doctor's degree over the
Wow.
weekend and in hospitality. And so it was like a really big thing. The Chamber of Commerce put on this big thing for her and all of this. So I took her a gift. I surprised her. And then I went to see another one of my clients, her home. And I texted her and told her how beautiful it is. It's under construction. It's a brand new home. And just gave her some notes about her home and stuff. And then came back and so my stepdaughter was traveling and their flight was delayed. So my husband called and said, I think Ty is going to be calling you because they're not going to get back in time to pick Mila up from daycare. So technically it's about an hour drive for me to take her and, pick her up. So in my mind, I'm like, well, dag, I would have just kept her the whole day if I knew that I had to go back and pick her up. But there were parts of in between um, going back to pick her up that I was replaying my whole birthday in my mind and judging everything. It was like this beautiful day of just being generous and loving and sending all these loving thoughts. And then this space that I started to, and it wasn't a negative way. It was just like making sure that everything I said and did was good and okay, and that everybody was pleased. And like, this is such old news for me. Like, I don't do that anymore. Why am I doing this? Um, and what was I practicing by doing that? I don't know. I guess the same as you, Penny, maybe controlling and thinking I'm making sure I control the narrative or something. I don't know, but it didn't feel good. It just, you know.
Mm. It's like
Yeah.
self-doubt, we're doubting ourselves too. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
That's what it kind of feels like to me too. Like why was I so worried about what I said or did on Monday
Mhm.
night? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Drusilla, when you were playing that, replaying the day in your mind, um, what was coming up for you?
All of the thoughts, all of the interactions between each person,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just thinking to myself, oh, did I say the right thing there? Did I do the right thing? It's just all of the stuff that I did in the past. And when I say past, I'm talking way back in the past. It's a part of our spiritual practice to stay present, right? And every moment of that day I enjoyed. There was no tension, no conflict. So I don't even know why there shouldn't have been a reason to replay anything really. Um, and it wasn't necessarily unpleasant while replaying it. It was just unpleasant when I started thinking about what I was doing. Like, Drusilla, why are you replaying these thoughts over and over again? You know, yeah. So it made me feel like I I had a relapse or something.
Mhm.
That's what it felt like, a relapse.
So that's interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is that so yesterday you got a little irritated, just a little bit, because you had to go back and, an unexpected thing happened that caused you time. And if you would have known, you would have done your day a little bit differently. And then so that irritation was present. And then when that irritation was present, your mind went to looking for more irritation,
More evidence. Yeah.
more evidence.
I want to just slightly tweak that. If
Oh,
I
good.
may.
Good. Yeah.
Because I heard Drusilla say, Drusilla, why are you replaying these thoughts over and over again? And I immediately thought, but are you, Drusilla, replaying the thoughts over and over again? Like, they just bubble up and we either latch onto them or we let them go. We don't have to identify with them. So the irritation acted more like a magnet because of law of attraction and the map of consciousness and like whatever level you were vibrating at that moment. But it wasn't that you were constructing the thoughts and regenerating them over and over and over and over again. They were just in your field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can agree with both of those sentiments. And it definitely had to do with the being agitated, and having those thoughts, come up, whether it was consciously or subconsciously doing it. But yeah, I definitely agree that that's what put the wheels in motion, was feeling agitated. But I don't know, part of it, I thought just now when I was talking about it, trying to make the connection that maybe it was pacifying myself on some level as well. I don't know.
Say more about that?
Yeah. Pacifying yourself. What?
Yeah, meaning trying to cover up the agitation with some thoughts that were pleasant.
Yeah.
Trying not to feel, because I didn't want to feel like agitated about going to pick up my grandbaby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like it could have been some pacifying myself on some level.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm like thinking about like spiritual bypass or something, like you were bypassing something that needed to be felt and replacing it with something more pleasant.
Yeah, because I mean, it certainly should be okay that I didn't want to drive an hour up and an hour back in traffic, right? But I was associating that with not wanting to go pick up my granddaughter and feeling guilty, that aspect of it. Yeah.
Morgan, what about you? What happened to you yesterday? Let's pick apart your yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm going to lump the past few days together because yesterday felt pretty chill. Like I didn't notice any kind of disturbances in my field, I would say, but I have in the 3 days or so prior to yesterday, I was experiencing, or I was practicing a few uncomfortable, icky things. First, I was practicing not complaining. Yes, complaining, but the one that was the most sticky or prickly was defensiveness. Like every so often, I don't know, I don't want to put a label on it, but maybe once every 6 weeks or so, John Mark and I just have a day or a couple of days where we're just we can't get on the same level and we cannot see each other's point of view and we just bump up against each other.
I can relate to that with my husband.
Please, what? I mean, you get a gold star.
And it's just we just trigger each other and we cannot see each other's point of view and we just are missing each other. And it's it's just something in the atmosphere and nothing seems to be able to fix it. We just have to kind of take a break from each other, go do our separate things. And I just was taking everything so personally and reacting. I mean, I I am a fire sign and I react. I can be stubborn and I have to be heard. I have to feel understood. And I just will fight tooth and nail to get him to see what he did wrong and how it hurt my feelings or pissed me off or was wrong. And I just dig my heels in and I cannot let it go. And but that goes against everything that I would like to practice and how I would like to show up. And I can witness it in real time or sometimes immediately after it takes place and be like, God, why can't I just practice defensiveness? And then, 10 minutes later, something else will happen and I'm right back in it again. Like it is just, it feels beyond my control. I know A Course in Miracles teaches that it is not in reality. Like we are in control of all of it, but it doesn't feel that way sometimes.
Control is a theme going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's the root of all evil.
Especially because my word for the year is acceptance, right? We've all, that was for me yesterday. So on Friday, my husband got in an auto accident and it wasn't his fault, right? It just
on his motorcycle, right?
No. And he was in our truck, our daily driver. And he, through no fault of his own, New Mexico has bad drivers. I mean, you can Google it, right? They've got, bad drivers. And so we are in limbo now. Whether our truck is going to be totaled out or, and my, over the past few days, my mind has gone into, let me control the situation, right? Like, let me, so something is out of my control. Like, so it happened on Friday. It is Wednesday and we still don't know if they're going to fix it or they're going to total it out and we get another one. And so there is some degree of uncertainty and, my humanness does not like that. So, I've been online looking at trucks. What kind of truck are we going to replace it with? Like, I mean, all kinds of stuff. I've just hours and hours and hours and hours of doing this. We even went, I don't remember, the day before to look at trucks, like what would we replace it with? And then, so my mind is just trying to grasp at how do I solve this problem? And so that's what I've been practicing is how do I solve this problem? How do I solve this problem? And so yesterday, I was looking, okay, so if we don't get a new one, we get a used one. And I'm showing Mike all like trucks and trucks and trucks and trucks. And he finally just said, I can't look at trucks anymore.
It is overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the first question I have, Mike's okay. Everything's
Mike is okay
with him.
Yeah.
Nobody got hurt.
No, his side, he got hit on the side. So his side airbag, not T-boned.
Oh,
He was turning into the feed store and someone, instead of waiting or just passed on the left and hit him.
Wow.
It's bad. There's bad drivers in New Mexico, not to generalize, but we think, because there was no skid marks or nothing, we think the guy was on his phone or not paying attention. And when he realized it, he swerved and hit him.
Wow.
So it raked down the side, both doors, the front panel, the tire was a little off. And
And this is the truck you use for your horses too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is our daily driver.
Yeah.
Well, I heard you say that what you were practicing is how do I solve this problem? But what I also think you were practicing is the belief that this is a problem.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, this is a problem to be solved instead of just, it will, like, part of me knows that everything I have practiced enough that God's got this, that everything will turn out okay. And at the same time, I'm like, my humanness wants to manage it.
Yeah. But what if things don't turn out okay, but what if they turn out like way better than even expected? Or, what if it turns out to be a blessing somehow?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you've been labeling it a problem this whole time.
exactly. That's old. Those are old patterns, right? That's what I
Mhm.
have been practicing.
Yeah.
I love that. Huh. And
Yes.
like I think stress added on to it too. Like,
Mhm.
the stress of Mike getting in an accident. Because I
Mhm.
have found myself, I know this is kind of cuckoo, but I found myself several times over the last 5 days just going, I'm so glad you're not dead. Like,
Yeah.
Goodness.
yeah, I'm glad
Wow.
you're not dead. And
Wow.
so I have been practicing like that too,
Mhm.
without
So
knowing it.
gratitude, you were practicing gratitude?
No, part of my mind, like, why would my mind even go there?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
Well,
catastrophizing,
Yeah.
like,
uh,
even without it being, the top of my mind, like controlling. Like, so
mhm.
I went into controlling and planning and distracting myself with shopping
Oh,
because of
wow.
the underlying, oh my God,
Mhm.
like the whatever
What
was,
if? Yeah.
what ifs underneath.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's powerful. I'm
Well,
to bring this to the light that that's what was
Mhm.
going on.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you recognize it at the time, or are you just getting the aha now?
This morning, uh, Mike said to me, because the last couple of days, like, okay, it's time to clean the house. It's time to get rid of all the clutter. Like, I've just been going
Mhm.
in,
Mhm.
um, I'm just to a new level. Like this bucket,
Mhm.
like Mike pointed out, this bucket that he washed his motorcycle with a week ago has
Wow.
been outside for a week. So, like, here I am justifying, pick up that effing bucket. But like, I was done. Like, I couldn't leave it there because those were loose strings. Like, I'm tying up all the little loose strings. Right. That's a part
What
of
you can control, you're putting
what
your
I
energy
can't
to.
Yeah.
control. Like, that bucket needs to move. Right. That's just
Yeah.
one little thing. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's control. Like, I can't have all
Mhm.
these things done, because if my husband were to die, all these things were to be undone. Like, I would have all these things to do myself. So he pointed that out this morning. He's like, it's like you're doing a Swedish death cleanse. I'm like, I'm not dying. He's like, yeah, but you've said that, many times. You're glad I'm not dead.
That's funny.
Wow.
Look at him bringing the awareness
Hmm.
through for you.
Uh-huh.
Well, why don't we switch gears and think about either something we would like to practice instead, or something that we do practice that we are proud that we practice, that something that we can celebrate, just to kind of shift
Yeah.
the frequency a little bit.
Get us to a higher vibration.
Hmm.
Yes.
Well, for me, it's acceptance, just accepting what's unfolding. And you know what? So, oh, my daughter said to me too, one other thing. She said, Mom, you need to have a practice that's like a quick one and then the longer one.
Yeah, that's actually a good tip.
Yeah. So when I said, and I have that, Samantha, but did I do it? No. But that's what, so for me, it's just accepting what's going on and accepting and saying, okay, Penny, so you didn't do your morning ritual, your morning practice. So what now? Like, what's the next right thing to do right in this moment? Like, what can I do to get myself back to center, to get myself partnered up? And so for me, it's just pausing and maybe taking 3 deep breaths, consciously taking 3 deep breaths, feeling the air as it goes in my nose, the temperature of it, and feeling as it comes out of my nose, the temperature, and just paying attention, getting back in my body. Because one of the things I've learned is that when I'm out there catastrophizing or controlling or whatever I'm doing, agitated or annoyed, I'm not in my body. I'm like out there someplace else. So call myself in and get back to center. So that's kind of what I'm thinking I'll do
Mm.
next time.
Yeah.
That's
Can you think of
beautiful.
some times that you have done that?
Yes, I can. I can't think of when that was, but I know that. Well, one thing that I've noticed that I do when I'm and I'm starting to really be aware of it, is like I'll do these big, huge sighs. Like I'll go, and it's not like a good thing. It's like an overwhelmed sigh. And so I think when I'm going to really start paying attention to that, like when I feel that sigh, I want to pause just for a moment and close my eyes and just check in and go, okay, Penny, like, what's going on? What's going on? And really, I think I need a little time out to see what's going on. And I don't do that all the time. It's something I'm just starting to really practice. And so, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
I think
it's
mine is
wonderful.
just the ability to laugh, right? Like, so as we were reviewing yesterday for me or the last few days, like just to see how funny it is, right? Life is just, it can be humorous. So mine is, it takes the pressure off when I do have those realizations, not to double down on punishing myself for them, but just to laugh at just reality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It really is so helpful to be able to laugh at this stuff and instead of doubling down on it, like you said, it just
Mhm.
a quick fix.
Not take ourselves so seriously.
Mhm.
For me lately, actually since my mom passed, which was April 21st,
Mm.
I have not had any practice, formal spiritual practice. Um, though I can't say that I had been, or let's just say I have been practicing mindfulness intentionally, just not taking time out specifically for any spiritual practice. And what I've reminded myself of is that it doesn't take a spiritual practice necessarily. And as a matter of fact, it shouldn't take a spiritual practice to stay present and to stay in your loving heart and to stay. And so I think it's been a great, I would say, exercise for me, which is probably not the right word because it's still putting it in a box. But it's been a great practice for me as to just to stay aware of the fact that I still can be the person I desire to be, without having to take time out on a daily basis for the practices. Did that make sense?
It
It makes
does.
complete sense because what do they say that all day long it should be just a prayer, right? And so
Mhm.
that's what I'm hearing you. It's just all day long we should be in our practice, being in our
Yes.
loving heart. And
Right. Well, and the morning intentional practice is just like the studying before the test. Like the actual practice is the going through your day and living life and then deploying whatever that is. So it just sounds like you're in a period of living what you've been studying or practicing or
Mhm.
Morgan, I've never heard it put that way. I love that. You're studying for your test, and life is the test.
Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
I do like that too. Yeah.
Mm.
What for you, Morgan?
Um, well, I think, the ultimate goal is to practice defenselessness
Mhm.
and and the personality in me, the ego, whatever, um, just really has been quick to latch onto. But yes, I shouldn't allow somebody to speak to me that way. And I have to have enough self love and self respect to not tolerate it. And it's just, and I think both can be true. And I can allow people, particularly my partner, whom I know very well, to have their human experience and not take it personally. And I have practiced that before. I wish I was more consistent with it. I would like to be more consistent with it. Unfortunately, I've practiced reactivity more consistently than I have practiced defenselessness. Um, but that is the goal, to just remember that it really has nothing to do with me. It's not about me and I don't have anything to prove. And you know, that's what I'm aiming for.
That's a beautiful thing to aim for.
Mhm.
My
Mhm.
favorite lesson. 153, I think it is. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. In A Course in Miracles.
Yes.
Yeah,
Best one.
it is. Yeah. Wow.
I can't wait to hear your post-its, Penny.
Well, I've only got 2. Well, I have 3. And the first one is just like, we are all studying and life is the test. I love that one. And then I just really loved how each person like pause, laugh, stay aware, and practice defenselessness is so important for all. Those are the 4 key things that I think we all talked about. And then the final post-it is that, I mean, I'm frozen again. My internet's been a little sketch, but it's just happy birthday, Drusilla.
Oh,
Sweet.
thank you.
Yeah. You are welcome. So, as we wrap up this episode, maybe transformation doesn't happen through one life-changing moment. Maybe it happens in the quiet moments we repeat every single day, just like we all shared today. So, this week, just simply notice what you're practicing. Awareness is curative, as we've often said on this podcast. And if one small thing no longer serves you, practice something different. 1% a day. If we just change 1% a day, amazing things will happen. So it's one thought, one breath, one moment, one awareness, one laugh, one time being practicing defenselessness. Gosh, that was hard to say.
It's
That's
hard
all
to
it
do,
takes.
too.
Yeah. It's just one moment at a time. And too often we're thinking about 20 years from now. So let's just stay present in the moment, one moment at a time. So thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, your transformation is our greatest joy. And we look so forward to connecting with you again very soon. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Bye.